Welcome to the 9th episode of Leadership Talk, a weekly talk with inspirational leaders, hosted by District 79, Saudi Arabia. We are District 79 Director, DTM Samir Kamal, International President, DTM Deepak Menon, distinguished guests, fellow Toastmasters, and everyone present over here. Warm good evening to you all. And once again, welcome to this 9th episode of Weekly Talk Show. From this point on, self-unmute and public chat will be disabled, and all the questions can be addressed to the person whom host will introduce in a while. If there is any technical concern, you may send a message to me as a private message. All the videos will stay closed till you are asked to turn it on at the end of this program for a group photograph. Today, to conduct this episode, we have with us a tall leader who is doing his HPL project. He is the webmaster of District 79. He's a proud member of Serendip Toastmasters Club. Without much ado, let me welcome our host tonight, Toastmaster Muhammad Fariz.
Thank you, DTM Norman, for a glamorous opening of this session and a generous introduction about me. I welcome you all to the weekly leadership talk. Top leaders from all over the world will share their experience and thoughts. I'm so excited to host this session from District 79, which serves eastern, central, and northern part of Saudi Arabia. For your questions, please write them in the chat box. Toastmaster Fahim and Dr. Toastmaster Salim Hakim will handle the question segment as moderator. Before we start, let me call on our beloved district leader and visionary leader, who is the brain for this amazing program. DTM Samir Kamal will welcome our members and guests now.
Thank you, Toastmaster Muhammad Fariz, the event chair and the project lead for this weekly District 79 Leadership Talk. Fellow Toastmasters of District 79 and from all over the world, good day and special greetings for our wonderful guests, our International President, who accepted to be with us today and share his wisdom with us. I'm so excited to hear from him and to learn how to be a wonderful leader such as him. Dear leaders, without taking a lot of time, I wish you an enjoyable session where we can learn, and then we can go to our clubs, share what we learn so we can all grow together. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Muhammad.
Thank you, DTM Samir Kamal. Our speaker today has a message to our members and beloved guests. Not only a message, but some thoughts and wisdom. I kindly request everyone to get maximum benefit out of it. I will not take much time. I will leave you with our speakers. Our speaker this afternoon is DTM Deepak Menon of New Delhi, India. He's a chartered accountant at JP Kapoor and Ubera in New Delhi, where he is one of the 9 partners. Menon is fellow chartered accountant with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, where he also earned a diploma in information system auditing. Menon served as a chief coordinator for Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program in collaboration with an American center in New Delhi, and helped build communication and leadership skills. Approximately 700 underprivileged children in 6 cities in India. As a Toastmaster since 2002, Menon's home club is Central Delhi Toastmasters. He has held a number of high-profile leadership positions within Toastmasters and has attained distinguished Toastmaster designation. He says, Toastmaster has taught me skills that no schools, college, or universities teach. And he says it has helped me evolve from being a lone player to being a team leader, a team player, from being led to being a leader, from the problem to being the solution. As an officer of the Toastmasters International Board of Directors, Menon is working ambassador for the organization. He works the board to develop, support, modify policies and procedures to guide Toastmasters International to fulfill the mission. Currently, he serves as international president of Toastmasters International. Please help me to welcome DTM Deepak Menon to present Knock Knock. Over to you, DTM Menon.
Good afternoon, District 79. I'm so delighted to be speaking with you today. When I received this invitation for this prestigious forum, I was very delighted to be joining you, to be speaking with you, to be sharing my thoughts with you. I'm sure that you're intrigued by the title of this talk, Knock Knock. Well, I'm going to go straight into it. And I'm going to say, knock, knock. Can you hear the knock? Can you? I don't know whether you've heard the knock or not, but many years ago, and this was in 2003, May, I heard a knock. But actually, it was not even a knock. It was a ring. My phone was ringing. And when I answered the phone, who did I discover at the other end? It was a Toastmaster, a member of the nominating committee of the club that I was a member of at that time, the Toastmasters Club of New Delhi. Her name, Tara Pillai. And Tara asked me, in fact, she didn't even ask me. She told me, Deepak, the nomination committee has decided to nominate you for the position of the president of the Toastmasters Club of New Delhi. Now, for a few moments, I was stunned. I was so taken aback by that call, by those words, that I didn't have words to speak. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my journey until that point in time in Toastmasters. I had joined the only club at that time in New Delhi, in fact, one of the 6 clubs in India, in July 2002, the Toastmasters Club of New Delhi. And there were, at that time, about 8 members who were already members of that club. This club had actually been chartered in 2000, had been suspended for non-payment of dues in September 2001, and then had got reinstated in March 2002. So it was in a rebuilding phase at the time when I joined this club. And out of those 8 members who were already members when I joined, 7 of them were executive committee members. So in May 2003, when I was asked, or rather told, that the nomination committee wanted me to be the president of the club, here I was, fairly new member, with no executive committee experience whatsoever, being asked to serve as the president of the club. And obviously, the first question that I asked Tara was, what about all those other executive committee members who are serving presently? Aren't any of them going to be the president of the club? Why me? Why are you asking me to be the president of the club? I don't think that I can handle that role of being the president. Well, Tara said, no, we've considered everybody and we feel that you are the one. We want you to be the president. Now, that was rather strange. You know, a nomination committee means an interview. They needed to ask me if I knew what that role was. They needed to ask me if I had the time to commit for this. Instead, they were just merely lumping it at my door. That knock that came to my door was something which was completely unexpected, and I was very reluctant to take on that position. After a great deal of persuasion from Tara, I said, okay, nominate me. I'm sure that when it comes time for elections, nobody is going to elect this Johnny-come-lately. But lo and behold, in June of 2003, when the elections were conducted, nobody stepped up for the position of the president. And I got elected as the president of the Toastmasters Club of New Delhi, not having served in any leadership position until that point in time in the club. And so you can imagine my trepidation on 1st of July 2003, when I had to step up in that position of the president of the club. 1st of July 2003, incidentally, was a Tuesday. And our club used to meet on the 1st and the 3rd Tuesdays of every month. And so there I was, 1st of July, panicking, standing in front of my members, wondering, what would I say? What would I tell them? How would I lead this club forward? The door had knocked, I had reluctantly opened it, and now I was stuck. That began my leadership journey in Toastmasters. And that year was such a phenomenal year for me, because all that I learned that year has helped me in every single role thereafter. I understood what really a club meant. I understood how members achieve through the clubs, how members are dependent on the officers for the service that is provided to them. I learned skills that I could not have learned in any other way. I learned how, by being the president of a club, you can actually learn more than by going to business school. Business school teaches you the theory of leadership. The role of the president teaches you the practical way of leading. If you're successful as the president of your club or the vice president of education of your club, you can be successful in any leadership role anywhere in the world. And the reason is that if you are successful as a club leader, leading a set of volunteers who are not being paid to do the job that they're asked to, and if you're successful as a leader in achieving the goals and the objectives of that club, imagine how successful you can be as a leader serving in an organization where the employees are actually paid to do the job for which you are responsible, for which you are leading them towards achieving the goals and the mission that they have been set to achieve. That year, I learned the importance of setting goals, setting a plan, working together to achieve that plan. I learned how important it was to be passionate about what you felt was important in your life. We all must have a purpose, because without a purpose, we're rudderless. And therefore, I encourage you all to have a purpose. Think, what should be that purpose? What is that thing that makes you feel passionate, that you cannot do without? And that then can help you understand what is your purpose. At that time, I had understood that Toastmasters was clearly my purpose. I wanted to help as many people that I possibly could to gain the benefits that Toastmasters offered. That's been my goal ever since, my purpose ever since. That year, as the president, when I stepped in, the club had about 14 members. And my goal was that we needed to ensure that there was more awareness of Toastmasters in the entire city. We were still just that one club in New Delhi. Nobody really knew what Toastmasters was. If you went onto the street and asked those people about Toastmasters, they would have a puzzled, confused look on their face. They would probably think that that was a club that met in a bar rather than a club that helped people enhance their communication and leadership skills. Or they thought it was a club that helped teach how to make toast. Yeah, the toast that you eat, not the toast that you raise. So that was the kind of awareness that was there in the city. And so my challenge was to get my members together to help ensure that we spread awareness about Toastmasters across the city. And so we launched a publicity program. We got together members who had contacts with journalists, with people who were in the know with the press and could write about the Toastmasters. We set up special events and invited the press to come. And sure enough, we started getting written about. And thereafter, there was an influx of guests who started coming into the meeting. We ended the year with about 40 members, and we never looked back thereafter. That club went on to become the mother club of 2 districts today, District 41 and District 98. And District 41 and 98, incidentally, are going to be reforming by 2022. They will be reformed into 5 districts. Yeah, that was what was started with that one club. So every drop makes the ocean. And that was an important lesson I learned. No effort goes waste. If you put in your mind, energy, time into what you believe in, you will be successful and you will see the results. Perhaps not today, but in the future. I ended my year as the president of the club, and I thought my leadership journey was over. Because, of course, we had never heard of a district at that time. We were barely, by then, about 15 clubs in India. And who could have imagined there could be a district? And so I thought, well, that's it. I am done. I will now continue to serve members as a mentor, as a guide. And I thought I would hang up my shoes, and that was it. Little did I know that fate had something else in store for me. By 2006, the board of directors of Toastmasters International had decided to recognize the clubs in India and Sri Lanka together as a district. And on 1 July 2006, we became a provisional district, District 82. In May 2006, there was a conference in Sri Lanka. And at that conference, the goal was to elect the incoming officers for this new district, District 82. And of course, it was the first time that we were getting together as a district that was in formation. So there were members from across India and Sri Lanka in Colombo. And at that time, the business meeting that was conducted was chaired by the then international president, Dilip Abhisekara. The only people who we thought were to be elected were the district governor, the lieutenant governor education and training, and the lieutenant governor marketing. We hadn't heard of divisions at that time. Nobody told us that there would be divisions, that there would be a need for division governors. So we were there, and when Dilip was told that we've got to have these elections and would he start the election process, he said, but you've only nominated 3 people, district governor, LG, ET and LGM. What about division governors? And we looked at each other and said, what is division governors? What is a division? So then he called the business meeting to a halt. He had an emergency meeting with the rest of us and told us what divisions were. And in the next couple of hours, these leaders decided to identify what would be the divisions. They created 3 divisions in the district: Sri Lanka as a division, all of South India as a division, and the rest of India as the 3rd division. The rest of India was really about 3/4 of India in terms of the area. And then they started looking for who would be division governors. And I got a tap at my back. That was the second knock that I got. And I was told, Deepak, you're going to be one of the division governors. And I was looking puzzled. I said, what do you mean division governor? I have no idea what the division governor is. Unfortunately, I was the only person in that meeting from India, from north of India. And consequently, they couldn't find any other scapegoat to take on that position. And there I was, foisted with the role of the division governor without even seeking it out. The second time that I had been given a leadership role when I did not want it, when I had no idea about it. Well, here I was, division governor of Division C, which was that 3rd division, which comprised of 3/4 of India. Incidentally, that's now District 41 and District 98 as well. That's what the division grew into finally. But 1 July 2006, it was again a mystery for me as to what I would do. Here we were a brand new district. We didn't know anything about heading a district, leading a district, doing what was required, what was it that we were supposed to do. The district trio also were clueless. After all, they were serving in these roles for the first time as well. And none of them got the opportunity of going to district leader training that year because they didn't get their visas. And so we had absolutely no idea as to how we're going to run the district. Each one of us doing whatever we felt was right. Now, my goal was to spread Toastmasters, the awareness of Toastmasters, as I'd done when I was the club president, in the division that I was now in charge of. And so I was running helter-skelter across all the cities that comprised my division. And it was, you name it, and that city was there. Mumbai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Pune, Jaipur, of course, New Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida. I'm sure you've heard of the names of these cities. And they are some of the biggest cities in the country. Each of these cities had one club or half a club that existed at that time in those cities. And so my goal really was to spread the awareness, try and get in more clubs formed, and try and train as many people as I could to lead those clubs. That was all that I was focused on. I didn't realize that there was a district recognition program, that there was a division recognition program, there was an area recognition program in place, because I was focused on what I had to do. I was charting my own course. And come the end of the year, I get a call from the district governor. It was June of 2007. And Venkat, who was the division district governor, said, "Deepak, we need 4 advanced communicators." And he told me that we need it in 10 days. In 10 days, brand new district, advanced communicators, where are we going to get them from? They're not going to land from Mars, that suddenly they would turn from perhaps new members into advanced communicators. It was not going to happen, and it did not happen. And so as on 30th of June, we missed becoming select distinguished by 4 advanced communicators. So that year, the recognition program required us to have achieved a minimum number of competent communicators, a minimum number of advanced communicators, membership payments, and club growth, which currently is part of the program as well. Now, there was a score that was allocated to all the districts. The top 6 districts in the world, in terms of scoring, were the president's distinguished districts. The next 6 were select, and those who met the minimum criteria were all select distinguished, were all distinguished districts. So in terms of the score, we were number 8 in the world, and we could have been select distinguished. But because we did not meet the minimum criteria of the distinguished status, that is, we missed the mark for the advanced communicator goal by 4 ACs, we were not even distinguished. And I learned how important it was to understand at the beginning of the year, what should be the goals? What should it that we should be doing to understand what we need to do to be successful? And how do we ensure that we implement the plans that we make successfully? I learned very important leadership lessons from the failure that we had that year. And then the next year, the door knocked again, but this time I voluntarily walked in. And this was to the position of the Lieutenant Governor Marketing. The Lieutenant Governor Education and Training that year was Balraj Arunasalam. And the District Governor, Balraj, and I got together in Bangalore, because that's where the District Governor resided. And we started planning as to what is it that we were going to do that year? How is it that we were going to ensure that we did not commit the mistakes of the previous year? Ensure that we would set a course for success, not just for 1 year, not just for 2 years, but for the years to follow. And yes, indeed, we were successful that year. We were the #1 district in the world at the end of the year, President's Distinguished. And that success continued for the next 3 years. And in the 4th year, we were reformed. In the 5th year, we were reformed into 2 districts, and we became District 82 and District 41. Of course, we're now more than 1,000 clubs in India. And we're continuing to grow. There are 4 districts. 2 more districts come into being on 1 July 2020, and 3 more districts on 1 July 2022. So you can do your count for yourself as to how many districts there will be where there was none in 2002. Friends, the doors, the windows, your entire house starts knocking at you, wants you to open it, wants you to take control of your lives, wants you to take the opportunities as they come. But we hesitate because we don't know. We don't know what's in for us. We are not willing to experiment. We're not willing to leave our comfort zone. But if we open those doors that are knocking, if we take that phone call that's ringing, who knows what is going to be in store for you? What is it that you can achieve? I urge you all that when the door knocks for you the next time, open it. Take that opportunity willingly. Be willing to experiment. If you like it, wonderful. If you don't, well, you've not wasted your time. You've tried something different and decided it's not for you. Friends, it's important to be the leaders that you possibly can in Toastmasters, because you can learn all that you possibly can in leading not just Toastmasters, but leading the world. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Deepak Menon, for that wonderful presentation with great insight and inspiration to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for our International President, DTM Deepak Menon. Thank you, sir. Now let us move to the next segment, question and answer session. I request everyone to please send your questions to Toastmaster Fahim as a private chat. Now I would like to invite our question and answer moderator, Toastmaster Dr. Salim Hakim, to take the lead.
Thank you very much, DTM Rahman. On behalf of District 79, it is my great pleasure to be the question and answer moderator today. I welcome you, DTM Deepak, to Saudi Arabia and to this part of the world. I already have a quite long list of questions. I hope you will bear with me, sir, to answer those. Shall we begin?
Absolutely.
Perfect, thank you. The first question is, throughout your intensive experience, successful experience at Toastmasters, what is that one leadership style that you would like to refer to? We already know there are strategic leadership, situational leadership, transformational leadership. What is that one thing that you believe and you go by? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I've seen very many different kinds of leaders. I used to be a very dictatorial leader at one point in time because I wanted to get things done my way. I was not a team player at all because I felt I could do everything myself. It was when I stepped into the district leadership positions that I realized that I couldn't do everything myself, that I did need a team, that I needed the support of people to be able to do whatever needed to be done to achieve the goals and the objectives of the purpose that we needed to serve. And I realized that you cannot be dictatorial in Toastmasters. I realized that this is a voluntary organization. If you try to dictate, people will resign and leave. They will not stay on, they will not stick on. And so I had to evolve my leadership style into being collaborative. And that's how I've been able to achieve success in Toastmasters as a leader, by ensuring that there is collaboration, there is consensus in everything that we do, to ensure that the people are with us, they're willing and inspired and motivated, and encouraged to achieve the goals that the organization needs them to achieve.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the second question. In your first year as a governor, what were those strategies that helped you the most to achieve to the set success you're looking at? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that question. Indeed, it was, there were different strategies that one used. You know, every district in the world is different. Every district has its own challenges that you face. They're unique in nature, and you've got to identify what strategies would work best to fix the challenges that you face. What will be the solutions that will work best for you? Now, as I already told you, when we started off the first year as a district, we fell short by advanced communicators. And we realized early on the following year that that would be our Achilles heel, that we would always now fall short of this particular goal of advanced communicators. And we wondered how we're going to fix it. So what we did was, to ensure that we get the adequate number of advanced communicators, we started working from the first month itself. We asked our area governors, of course they call them area directors now, we told them when they visited clubs, they needed to list out all the members who were on their educational track and where they were on their educational track. So if they were doing the CC manual, where on the CC manual they were, how many speeches had they done, how many speeches to complete. Similarly, on the advanced communication manuals, how many speech projects had they completed. So this was an additional information that we asked the area governors to collect from the club members when they made their area visits. As a result, we started gaining information about the entire set of members in the district. The reports would only give us an indication as to when the achievements happened. But now we had information as to what was going on in the clubs, who was now going to be able to achieve their goals. And we were able to then motivate and inspire individual members to accomplish their goals. We put in place incentive programs to ensure that clubs started achieving their distinguished club program goals early on in the year, rather than later in the year. We developed a program called the Golden Gavel. We stole the idea from Toastmasters International. We knew there was a Golden Gavel which was presented every year at the annual convention. But this Golden Gavel was a Golden Gavel that we acquired from the Toastmasters store. It was the cheapest award that we could give. It cost only, I think, $6 or something. And because it was so cheap, we felt that we could make a big thing about it. We put it in a nice box and presented it with a lot of hoopla, which wanted people to, it made people vie to win that award. And as a result, we started getting all our goals in early in the year. We didn't have to struggle and have sleepless nights in May and June when we felt that we wouldn't be able to achieve things. And that's the strategy that helped at that time. Strategies can be different. There can be, first you need to identify what are the issues, what are the challenges, what can you do, what can be the overall strategy, and then find ways in taking these initiatives to fulfill those strategies.
Thank you, sir. You did mention the Golden Gavel, and that surely required some publicity program, which was also mentioned in your speech as one of the factors and drivers of the phenomenal growth the district had. We understand that Toastmasters International has terms and conditions, bylaws about how you can have a representation of Toastmasters. If I'm to request you to tell us those 3 big advices on how can we promote our public program, our publicity programs, what would that be, sir? Over to you.
I think the 3 ways that I can suggest is media. Ensure that you have yourself written about in the press, come on to radio. There are many live shows these days. You have breakfast shows. You have these drive time shows. If any of your leaders can be featured on one of those talk shows. That gives a lot of publicity. If you can have appearances on television, again, there's a lot of publicity that happens. Then our websites, I think we have now so much of social media which is available. And on social media, which is WhatsApp, Facebook, LinkedIn, you have meetups. I think there are many such opportunities which are available to advertise and to ensure that people get to know about Toastmasters. But most of all, it still remains word of mouth. Every single member of Toastmasters is an ambassador of Toastmasters. When you meet people for the first time, or even for the second time, talk to them about Toastmasters. Tell them your story. Don't just tell them that Toastmasters is an organization that helps improve communication and leadership skills. That's very bland. You've got to put in a little bit of human emotion. Tell them who you were before you joined Toastmasters and how you evolved. What have you learned? What are the personal traits that you've gained in Toastmasters? What is it that has made you change? What attributes and competencies you've gained as a leader, as a member, as a speaker, as a contributor? So that's what I can suggest. The three things, the media, the social media, as well as personal conversations.
Thank you very much for the advice, sir. You did mention volunteers as supporters to the growth. How can we motivate them? How can we encourage them, knowing that, as you have said, they're not getting anything in return? So how can we do that?
There's a book that I can recommend to you. It's called Drive by Daniel Pink. It talks about motivation. It talks about what motivates people. And according to that book, the three things that motivate people is purpose, mastery, and autonomy. And Toastmasters offers all three. It gives you a purpose. You have to discover what your purpose is, as I spoke of in my talk earlier. If that purpose fits in within the learning that you can get from Toastmasters, then you are a Toastmaster for life. You have the opportunity of developing mastery in everything that you do in Toastmasters. We work towards achieving excellence. Excellence is part of our core values. Excellence is something that can never be achieved, but we can always work towards achieving excellence. And therefore, that itself is a motivational factor. Finally, autonomy. In everything that we do, we have significant amount of autonomy. We have the freedom to fix our own strategies, identify our own goals, our objectives. We have the framework of our governing documents, our bylaws and our policies and protocol. But around that, we have freedom to do anything that we want. So we have the autonomy, we have opportunity to master what we're doing, and we have clear purpose available to us in Toastmasters. And that's a great motivational tool. In my opinion, the amount that we learn in Toastmasters is phenomenal. We generally only scratch the surface of learning what we can from Toastmasters. But if we plumb the depths of learning, we can discover gems and treasures that will never want us to leave Toastmasters.
Excellent advice. Definitely, I need to get a copy of that book, Drive by Daniel Pink. Thank you.
That's right.
You did mention, as well as a collaboration leadership approach. Having said that, leaders do have the choice to choose their team members. And this is what we practice as well in Toastmasters. What if, just as an argument, what if the district director also has the choice to choose his trio members? Would you agree that they as a team would have more coherent and more unified outcomes?
Well, that's possibly true. But then do you want yourself to be surrounded by people who are always going to say yes to you? Or do you want people to give you fresh ideas? You don't want clones around you. Because, you see, we gravitate towards people who think like us, who behave like us, who talk like us. That's what attracts us to people or attracts people to us. So if we have the opportunity of working with different people who we've never worked with before, we're going to be getting in new ideas from them. And the world will be a better place. Our district will be a better place because we have so much of thought and ideas. What happens in our clubs? We get new members all the time. These new members provide freshness in the club. They provide energy to the club. And that's what happens when you serve with people you do not know or have never had the opportunity of working with. As a district leader, as a Toastmasters international leader, I have had to work with people who I did not select, who have been voted by the members and have come onto the board or onto the district's leadership. And I've been able to work with them and have been successful. Yes, there will be some who will not deliver, and then there will be others who will. And then there will be others who will go beyond the call of duty to do everything possible within their capacity to be the best that they can. So you have to work with everybody, and you learn by working with everybody.
Excellent, wonderful. DTM, Deepak, we have reached to the end of the time. However, I have two more questions. Would you mind if I share them with you?
Most certainly, I have no problem at all.
Thank you. What are the qualities, personal qualities that you would like us to follow as well that made you the best choice for the prestigious position as international president? Over to you, sir.
I don't know whether I was the best choice for the international president. I guess our voters saw something in me, quite like Dhananjay Hetirachi, as he said in his speech about somebody saw something in him. Well, somebody saw something in me and therefore decided to elect me second vice president, and therefore my leadership journey on the executive committee started off in 2016. But I think what's important to have, especially in this time of the pandemic, in time of crisis, and as we're going through this time, three things that are very critical for everybody to develop in themselves. The competencies, in my opinion, which are critical are courage. The courage to face the situation without nervousness, without fear, without confusion. Because with courage, we can have resilience. We can spring back from whatever situation that we have to face. And Toastmasters is teaching us courage. We need to ensure that we have compassion. Compassion for the people around us. Ensure that we provide an active listening ear. We are empathetic to the people around us because we're not in this alone. Everyone is facing the same challenge. And so we need to be empathetic at this time. We need to be compassionate. Toastmasters is a supportive place, and we must continue to ensure that we are as supportive as possible, even in this online forum. And finally, we need to be creative. Creative in the ways in which we can engage, in which we can make a difference to our members, ensure that we still continue to provide the highest quality experience to our members. If these three qualities, these three competencies can be emulated by all the leaders, I can assure you they will be the best leaders that possibly can be in Toastmasters.
Thank you, sir. What positiveness and value do you see as a person, as a leader, with our recent collaboration, Toastmasters' recent collaboration with Rotary Club? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So we're in an alliance with Rotary International. We've, there's this thought in some people's mind that we're merging. Well, that's absolutely not true. We're not merging. We're continuing with our distinctive identities. Rotary is a very different organization compared to Toastmasters. Rotary is a service organization which provides service to mankind across the world through the service projects that they do. And of course, Toastmasters provides services to our members to help and develop their competencies, their skills. First, it's communication and leadership, but there are a whole set of competencies that they develop through the Pathways program and through the leadership training, the learning by doing that they achieve in the club and other environments that they practice in. And Rotary actually lacks that kind of leadership learning and leadership training, which is what they approach Toastmasters for, to help them with some aspect of leadership development for their members. And that's how the initial alliance started. We are in the process of developing 8 modules for the Rotary members. Some of those modules are already now online on the Rotary International website for their members. And there are more which are in the pipeline, which would be delivered by the end of this year. But at the same time, we agreed and decided that it would be a great opportunity for our members to use the skills that they've learned in taking part or participating in service projects of Toastmasters if they felt like it. And for Rotarians to learn the skills that they can to improve their communication and leadership skills. So a lot of these modules that they're going to be pursuing now, which are now on the Rotary International website, will require them to do speeches, and they will need feedback. And for that, they may come to Toastmasters and want to join Toastmasters clubs and get feedback for themselves. So once they're through with those modules, they may be hungry for more development. You must also remember that Rotary International has a 1.2 million strong membership. And with this alliance, we now have almost access to 1.2 million more people who were not very well aware of Toastmasters. So it's a huge growth opportunity as well for Toastmasters.
Very good. Thank you for the useful information, sir. I would like to end the question and answer session with the last question. It has been a recent concern by few about the judging in the contest transparency, because at one point, transparency promotes trust. Then how does Toastmasters believe in the confidentiality of the judges at the contest? Your views on that, sir?
Thank you very much for that question. Now, I know there is this, I can see him in fact on video, Toastmaster Abdul Nail. He has been asking this question. In fact, he posed it to me and he has received a response in May 2020. Therefore, I'm not going to repeat that response.
Well, thank you very much, DTM Deepak, for being so patient with me. I apologize to all the attendees for not being able to take their questions. We are far beyond the limits of the time, but having you, DTM Deepak, and giving the chance to me and my colleague to facilitate the questions, my colleague Toastmaster Fahim, was a great honor. Thank you very much once again, and over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the honor.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Salim Hakim. Very interesting, lively session you conducted. We have reached the final part of the program. Before we wind up, I will invite to share a few words about the session today. He is our visionary leader and beloved district director, DTM Samar Kamal, to share a few words. DTM Samar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fariz. There is no word can express my gratitude to our international president, who accepted to be with us for 30 minutes, but now extended to 60 minutes. Thank you a lot for giving us from your time, valuable time, from your wisdom, from your lessons that you learned since you became a club president in 2003. I learned from him today that the leader should be passionate, with purpose, have courage, and compassionate. You have to have an active listening and always be creative. And don't forget to set your goals at the beginning of the year. Most importantly, anyone tap on your shoulder, say yes, because you have something that you didn't know it yet. But people see something in you. So believe in that and accept the role that you may succeed and discover new potentials in yourself. Thank you, dear International President, Toastmaster Deepak, and for the wonderful team who is leading and running these sessions. And thanks for everyone being with us today. Enjoy your day. Back to you, Toastmaster Muhammad Farid.
Today we enjoyed another productive episode. I must thank my advisors, DTM Samar Kamal and DTM Menon Samina Mahmood, and our dynamic team, Dr. Salim, Toastmaster Fahim, Toastmaster Fasmi, and DTM Numan. I really enjoyed being a host this evening. Again, thank you to everyone. Please tune into our next episode, 27th June, Saturday, the same time. See you soon. We will continue with our meeting with another 5 minutes for socializing. We will end the meeting very soon, and I'll just hand over my screen to DTM Norman. DTM Norman, please take over. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Farid. Thank you, DTM Menon and everyone. Now the floor is open for socializing. Before that, we will have a picture session, photo session. So I request all our attendees to kindly turn on your videos. This is a great opportunity for us to have a great picture with our International President, DTM Deepak Menon. So,
I would say this is a historical moment, 100%.
Yes, sir, exactly. So I request everyone, let's take like 10 more seconds. I can see half of the people are yet to turn it on. Okay, so a thumbs up to all. Okay, now we will have the picture 1, 2, and smile. Page 1, and we have one more page to click. 1, 2, and fantastic. Okay, now you can unmute yourself and speak one by one, please. Isn't anyone having any comments?
Toastmasters, you have a wonderful and golden chance with our international president, so don't miss it.
Well, I have checked my email just now. I haven't received anything of this section. With due respect, sir, to you, if I have, I would have not brought this question again. But trust me, I checked my email. There was
I have only one thing to say. I have only one thing to say. Knock, knock, Mr. President of Toastmasters International, to see you next year in France, and I will be there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Abdul, I will ensure that the message is forwarded to you again if you haven't received it.
Thank you,
Okay.
please. Thank you.
One of the disadvantages of the virtual meeting is that we cannot actually walk up to DTM Deepak and ask for an autograph. So how are we supposed to fix this now?
Go like this. Go like this.
We will reserve that. We will reserve
sorry,
that for the International Convention in Paris.
Inshallah.
Or sir, we can send this screenshot to you. You may autograph
And I'm ready. I'm ready
I
to
could
give
do that
lessons
too.
in French. I'm ready to give lessons in French of those that you have time, free of charge, by the way.
By the way, we have a wonderful leader here who I admire a lot, distinguished Toastmaster Joey Villanova, District 104 Director-elect, and he was District 79 Director before we split into 2 districts. So we'd like to hear from him. He's an amazing leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. And thank you very much for seeing you, Mr. President. Next time we are going to invite you also in one of the activity that we will be having in District 104. We'll schedule for that. And of course, all the members that we have in District 79 will also be invited when we have that opportunity to invite you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to see you all and be with you in this particular program. Thank you very much.
I like your wall, Villanova, Joey. I like your wall so much.
Yes, that's the Toastmasters for 25 years.
So I must tell you folks about a person who served as my mentor, a gentleman by the name of Distinguished Toastmaster Janaki Prasad Patnaik. I'm sure some of you have heard of him. He was the Territorial Council chair for all of the Middle East before District 79 was formed. And so he was one of the persons who helped in the formation of District 79, when District 79 was just one district across the Middle East.
Yes, I remember him very well. He was my contest chair. Thank you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also been here in Jeddah, and that is also the start of so many clubs in Jeddah when the first time that
That's right.
On behalf of everybody, I would like to really thank DTM Menon, because today is Saturday in USA, and I'm in Florida at the moment, and Saturday is a day off. And actually to come on a day off like this and commit, I think that's really true service leadership. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Thank you very much.
Also, we have also here Region 11 advisor, the new Region 11 advisor appointed, distinguished Toastmaster James Tarouk.
I think
He disappeared.
okay, we have
Samir.
1 more minute. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Julie is here.
Yes, I'm here. It's back.
How are you, Julie?
I'm okay. How are you? Good to be back. How's everyone?
We are
Hi,
good.
Deepak. Yes,
Hello.
come here to listen to Deepak.
Thank you, Julie.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I remember when we were in Denver, the distinguished Toastmaster Deepak was sad that the convention was at the first week of August, first end of August. And he was saying that my year is the shortest year. Now it's extended.
Yes. Yes, it's got extended. It's become a long year for me now.
The longer, the most challenging year.
Oh, yes, it's been. But you see, it's the challenges that make us stronger, right? So when we are challenged and when we are able to then meet those challenges, we can certainly be the most successful. Because then no challenges can hold us back, right?
Yes,
100%,
yes, true.
100%.
We have also District Public Relations Manager with us, DTM Jolie.
Hi.
Our creative public relations
Thank you.
manager.
How are you, DTM Deepak? How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, Jolly.
Nice meeting you. It was a wonderful learning experience. Thank you so much for these lessons and your speech. Thank you so much. Our gratitude.
Thank you.
And
DTM
James came back. Sorry, Salim.
I was just wanted to know if DTM Deepak is willing to write a book about his experience and journey in Toastmaster, because he did not start actually a club. He started the actual Toastmaster in as big country as India. So I'm sure there is so much to learn. It's not everything in 30 minutes talk. Are you considering that, sir?
Well, let's see. I will have all the time in the world after August of 2021, when I will move out from the board of directors, and that's when I might consider writing a book. But who knows? At least I will certainly have a memoir.
Well, I will get the first copy, sir, because I was somehow the inspiration here.
Of course, Salim.
Okay, so
after 67 years, today the first time ever I need a word that was said, which is trepidation. I've never heard from it. So Oasis is going to be our word of the day next time. Trepidation. Never heard of it till today.
Is it?
Okay, Naaman, let's actually, if we stay here, we'll stay for hours with Toastmaster. So let's respect his time and the audience time also. We promised him with 30 minutes, and it's 1 hour.
Yes, so we will be ending exactly in 60 seconds. The time
Okay.
countdown
In
begins.
these 60 seconds, I would like to remind the District 79 members that we have our daily session, the 1 hour with BD. So every night at 10 p.m. we have open discussion. You can ask any question you have, concerns, suggestions, so we can be with each other and listen to each other. It will be 10 p.m.
Thank you, Didi.
Wonderful.
And
Well, thank you very much. Thank you all for having me here. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you for all your questions and for the fellowship. Thank you all. Take care. And all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Toastmaster Faris, so we are going to end the session.
Yes. Yes,
So
please.
thank you everyone for being here. Until we see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. And good night.
Bye.